Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, I'm Jonan Kandwanoho. I'm the Managing Director, Jonaki Holdings Limited. It's always a pleasure to have you every Friday. We meet here every Friday to discuss and to share with you the areas of business, personal growth and development, and it's a give back to the public, because the knowledge that the Lord blesses us with is not meant to be hoarded. It's meant to be shared with the outside world. That's why I commit my time and resources to come and share with you. And if you learn one or two things, as I've already said, that will be my joy. If you learn one or two things and implement them, and you get from point A to point B to point C, that will be my thing. I'll have achieved my objective. So I'm Jonan, as I said, Managing Director at Jonaki Holdings Limited. Jonaki Holdings does financial services. We offer credit. We also do coaching and mentorship in areas of business. We walk with you the journey of business. We also have bridal cars and car hire services. So check out our website, just right there up, and you'll get a taste of what we see and what we do and what we enjoy every day. So I'm glad to have you now, as we always meet every Friday from 5:30 to 6 for strictly 30 minutes to share on business and our growth. Glad to have you, Bishop Arthur. It's a pleasure having you this evening. Glad to have you, OG Page. I'm privileged that you're actually tuning in. So I think without much ado, I'd like to go straight to today's topic. As I shared before, these topics, some of them come from people, like someone pitches you and says, Jonan, can you kindly share on this topic? But others, I get to have them in my mind by the Spirit, and I feel a conviction that I should perhaps share on a particular subject, and it could benefit one or two people. However, a disclaimer is that if you do not implement these things that I share, you will not benefit. So until you act on them, that's when you can actually benefit. And I've been sharing a number of topics. You can check out my YouTube page, and listen in. You can learn one or two things and apply. Could be a game changer in your business, could be a game changer in your life. You never know. So check them out and apply. So going straight to today's topic, which is the power of negotiation. The power of negotiation. I know you've heard of negotiation, the term negotiation, for quite a number of times. Could have heard from institutions, could have heard from colleagues. I'm negotiating this land, I'm negotiating this property, I'm negotiating. Yes, negotiation is not a new term. But hearing it and comprehending it and knowing how to use the few skills that you can actually gain in that area to your favor, or to the favor of your entity, is very, very prime. And that's what brings me this evening to share with you the key things that you can actually learn and apply or have at the back of your mind while negotiating. So there are three key strategies that I want to share with you today concerning negotiation that will give you an edge, but also put you in a competent position, in a better position to carry out your negotiation very well, or to close your deal very well. You've heard countries negotiate, You've had people hired to negotiate peace deals, but there are some key strategies that you can actually apply. And they might not apply to business only, but even in our workplaces. And one of the key areas, or one of the key strategy, is to identify the value of a service or product that you're negotiating for. Now, with the negotiation, you can be on the side of the buyer or the side of the person who's going to use the service, or you can be on the side of the seller. Meaning that you could be buying or you could be selling. But either way, you have to know the value of what you are selling or buying, be it a service or a product. You've heard people say, just because he's had someone else, say a plot of land or a property in that area is worth 100 million, and out of excitement and speculation, he says, I'm selling my plot or my property at 100 million. If it's a building, not knowing what material the other previous seller used, not knowing the architecture plan, not knowing perhaps even the capability of the buyer who bought, lots of things that come into play. But just out of excitement and knowing that, my neighbor sold at that rate, I'm also going to sell at that rate. However, if you identify the value of that property, if you identify the value of that land, irrespective of the side you're at, whether buyer or seller, you're at an edge of closing that deal and benefiting from that deal. So on the side of the seller, you have to know the value of your property. Especially if you have some bit of urgency. If you urgently need the resources from the sale of your property. Or else your property will be there for months and months and you'll not get buyers. Someone will come and go off, come and go off. And the more visits without resulting in the closure of the deal, the more you're at an advantage, because word of mouth is a game changer. I'll go after failing and tell a colleague, you know what, I have that property you will not manage. Word of mouth. So it's very, very key. Very, very key. Very, very key. Word of mouth. So you'd want to close a deal with maybe the first person. First come, first time you close a deal, right there. How cool. Would be very nice. Saves you on your time, saves you on your resources, saves you on your, you can even recommit resources somewhere else. And if you have a challenge you want to solve, it's solved in the quickest time possible. But not first potential buyer, second potential buyer, third, fourth. What are you selling? That should be an indicator that what you're selling is highly priced. You've not identified the value of the property you're selling or the service you're selling. You start the restaurant and the plate of food, you put it at maybe 100,000. But when you look at all the things that would qualify the price, you have 2 out of 10. What are you selling? Where did you base to set that price? You see some of the businesses collapsing just because someone has high expectation of the business or high expectation of the service compared to what they invested. Just because food at Javas is at 50 or food at Serena is at 50, you also want to put a plate of food at 50. And you do not know or even know how much the other entities committed. You know the quality of their product. You know the quality of their services. So identify the value of your item, of your property. Whether a buyer or a seller, know the value of the thing that you are selling or the value of the thing that you buy. People have bought property just because someone says, a property in that area is maybe 150 million. But just because you've had someone selling it at 100, you dash in and buy. On the side of a buyer, and you lose money just because you had. Can you identify the actual value? And that's why we have professionals in those areas. We have certified surveyors, we have certified valuers that are experts in those areas. Commit time, they commit resources, and they get to be experts. It's like waking up in the morning and you feel the tooth is aching and you want to remove it, or perhaps do a dental canal, or, you are not an expert in that area. You have to look for someone who is well qualified in that area so that you can have, or you can know the actual disease that you have in the tooth, and it is treated. And same applies to business. Before you buy, what informed the actual price that you're actually paying for? What informs it? Do you base on hearsays? Do you base on excitement? Do you base on because you've got a deal and you've got 500 million? You remember that time when the prices of real estate had gone out of the roof? Plot in Entebbe Road was maybe 50 by 100 at 300 million or 250 million. Just out of speculation, because people had embezzled some money from somewhere. But if you've genuinely worked for your money and you want to buy a property, the price that you pay for that property has to be informed by numbers. Numbers never lie. They have to be informed by numbers. And it becomes very quick to make a decision. So the key thing is to know the value, whether you're a buyer or a seller. Know the value of what you're buying, the realistic value. Know the realistic value of something, of the property you are selling. Usually, especially if you're selling not on pressure, it is good to do a comparative. It's not a must that the first person has to actually close a deal or buy, unless he offers something that you actually want. Otherwise, getting a comparative of 2-3 people would give you a picture in case you've not engaged a professional valuer. If you think that's another cost, you can use that method. Compare maybe 2-3 people, and then you can gauge the price. Though a professional valuer would be very, very prime in that area. The other key thing, the other key strategy in negotiation is to strike for a win-win. Now, I read a book by Donald Trump that says you either win or they lose. That either way you have to look for a win-win, a win-lose. You winning and the other person losing. Now, that's not a kingdom perception. If you're talking about sustainability, if you're talking about growth, if you want your entity to stand the test of time, to transition generations, that's not a good way to view things. That's not a good way to approach a deal. You should approach a deal with a view that the other person, the other stakeholder, should also win. Because that very person that you're negotiating with to close the deal might be a potential client in a different area. I'll share with you an example. A person comes at Jonaki Holdings for a loan, but he again realizes that you actually have bridal cars. I recommend a friend. You've closed the deal using the other deal through word of mouth. It's also a kingdom principle. We are our brother's keepers. What will I benefit if I press you and you get out of business? What would be the benefit? What would be the benefit? You've seen some of the people in the supermarket, you can able buy fruits at maybe 10,000. But you get in the market where there are no price tags and you negotiate even a difference of 1K, when it can't even change your life. But you negotiate to the bone marrow. It's terrible. So aim for a win-win. If you see you can get over, if the offer is convincing enough, take on the deal. Don't press. Some people sell their property just because they are stuck. You actually see someone has no way out. But you again press, use that as an advantage. That's not a kingdom view. It's not. It's not of God. Just because someone is at a disadvantage, you press them to the wall. What you're doing is not right. What you're doing is not right. Aim for a win-win. If you're thinking sustainability, if you're thinking growth, aim for a win-win. Let the buyer win and let the seller win. Do not take advantage of people's situations just because you're able and you press them to the wall. No. It's not of God. It's not of God. It's not of God. You do not know the potential that person has to support in another area. Even if he doesn't. You've had a buyer's remorse or a seller's remorse. You buy something at a very pricey tag. It's a very high price. And then after you ask yourself, was it worth it? That's a remorse. Meaning that you made a decision out of excitement. The decision was not informed by anything else. It was not backed up by a particular number. Seller's remorse. Sell something only to realize that, you had undervalued the property. Property meant for 150 million, you sold it 100 million. The seller's remorse. You start regretting, had I known. What stopped you to know? So either way, it is good that we aim for a win-win, that both parties can actually benefit. So that both parties can actually benefit. And that's when you will not even have that remorse. I genuinely closed this deal, and I am not regretting closing this deal. You've seen peace deals in countries, a country versus a country, in a war. You'd want to close that thing as soon as you can, so that lives can be saved. But another government ties itself in a different thing altogether. How about compromising on something so that the other party can as well compromise on its area, and then you close it? Then you close it. At that, you close it at that. So guys, a win-win is always very, very important. I know you read material about win-lose, I either win or they lose. There are books written about that. Even while negotiating, you have it at the back of your mind, I have to press this person to the wall. That's not a kingdom. That's not a kingdom approach. That's not. What does the commandment say? Love our neighbors, our friends, as we love ourselves. Is that love? Is that love? It's not. If that is your ultimate aim, it's not. You're not wishing that person well. You're not wishing that person well. The other key strategy is to front or propose your price with confidence. Because after identifying the value of your property, you now have enough backup, you have enough confidence to front your price or front your offer. Now you've seen some people, just because you're my superior, I even feel bad to quote a price for you. And interestingly, someone is even willing to pay. He says, how much is that, Jonan? How much is your coaching session? And just because someone is your supervisor or your superior, or perhaps, you fear them, you fail to quote the price. And someone is willing to offer it. Offer a realistic price for a product or a service. It could be a book. Now you've had those speculations. You can't have a 50 or 30 pages book and you price it at 100,000, 150,000. That would be too high. You'll be speculating. Get realistic value of a product and front it with confidence. Front it with confidence. Someone is willing to offer. Someone is willing to pay for that service or that product. Why do you beat around the bush? I felt sorry for some people. You ask them, how much can I pay for this? Say, no, Jonan, you're my brother, you're you're a nice guy. But actually, the person needs the money. The person put in money to produce that product or service. You very well know that the person is even paying taxes for that business. And you're very kind and happy to offer a price for that product or service. But the person is not quoting. It's not an abuse. Can we get bold? Guys, can we get bold and confident to quote for our services and for our products? Quote realistic prices. Not getting a product worth 10 million and you price it at 30 or 50 million. Someone even backs off without even mentioning a word. No any point of negotiation at all. So guys, if you know you're confident of your service, because that is sometimes attributed to someone not being confident of what he or she is offering. Or perhaps he's very certain that the product or service he's offering is not of good quality, or I don't know. Or sometimes it's low self-esteem. Someone is not just confident enough, even when the thing is very high level. Someone is not confident enough to quote a price, to put a price tag, or to even make an offer. You look at this very beautiful car that you really like. Someone says, make your offer. How much are you offering? I have some figure in mind. But I'm sorry, no, I'll come. Say the price that you have in mind according to your budget. I don't fear. If I have interest in something, I'll make an offer confidently. It's either deal or no deal. It's not a crime. So it's good to make an offer. It's good to make an offer. Because where will I best to negotiate with you? Where will I best to reduce for you? So guys, irrespective of what you're doing, irrespective of the level you're at, irrespective of the person you're selling to, be confident of what you're selling and make an offer to establish a ground for negotiation. Don't shy away. Don't fear. It's not of God. Fear is not of God. The Lord has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and sound mind, and discipline. The Lord has not given us a spirit of fear. Quote your thing confidently. So long as you're convinced that the value you're quoting is realistic, the price you're quoting is realistic, and the value of the product or service you're offering is, spot on, quote, realistic price. I told you up there to identify the value of the thing you're selling. Got something realistic. And front it, propose it. And negotiate for a win-win. So guys, as we go to flourish in business, as we think growth, as we think sustainability, as we think transgenerational companies, let's have these things at the back of our minds as we are negotiating for any deal. Whether you're a buyer or a seller, assess the value of the property, or you, the buyer, should actually know the value of the property. Aim for a win-win. Aim for a win-win. Let both sides meet. Don't take advantage of people just because they are pressed to the wall. I've had opportunity. Someone comes, he needs money. You have a discretion of mentioning a higher interest rate. But it's a standard rate, you know. If it is 10%, it is 10%. Whether your urgency of needing the money is high or not, it is 10%. Do not take advantage of the situation. That's now not how sustainability is built. That's not how growth is achieved. No, it's not. And then finally, propose. Make an offer. Don't undermine yourself. Don't underlook yourself. Propose your offer. Or make your offer. However small it is. Someone could even just choose to, say, give me that. Someone is selling just because he's selling. He's not pressed the wall. He does not, he may be kind. But where do you base to be kind to someone, to offer something when they've not proposed their offer? Let's not get shy to quote our services or our products' prices. So guys, those are the key 3 things that you should have at the back of your mind as you're closing those deals, as you're negotiating your business, as you're running your entities, as you're growing to another level. Have them at the back of your mind. Have them at the back of your mind. And they will do you a lot of good. So as time is fast spent, I'm signing out. Thank you for tuning in. And check out the website. Let's get in touch. Let's grow together. Because someone out there needs our service. Someone out there needs our product. Front it. Share about it. Be proud of it. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. And you see how the Lord will lift you. You see how the Lord will take you to another level. You see how the Lord will lift you up. So be confident and be certain of what you want and front it. Thank you, and God richly bless you. I wish you a blessed weekend. Blessings.